Call us on your cell phone. Culinary Hotline Bling. That can only mean
Oh yes, it's that time of the week where we all come together in the kitchen. It's time for the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ting, 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 baby. 083-913-3728. You get to call us, ask us all of your confusing culinary conundrums, and Peter Ayub and Angie Boyd are here to answer those for you. Thank you so much for joining us. Are you well, guys?
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, sir. I just saw you. I noticed you have a Batman tattoo there. I didn't even... What?
Yep. My French bulldog's called Batman.
That is awesome.
And he thinks he's a superhero or something.
I kind of think he is too. Yeah, all right. So let's get into the questions. Of course, we are taking your calls as well. As I said, on 083-913-3728. Anything culinary related, you may call us and ask us on. So here's the first one, guys. Says, how do I make pickled eggs? I didn't even know pickled eggs were a thing.
Yeah, you just told me you got back from London. And
yes.
It's a huge thing in the UK.
I was only spending times in the pubs there.
A lot of pubs actually sell them. Like,
really?
On the bar, you can buy pickled eggs or pickled onions.
Eggs. We'll get into the details of why that was even invented, but let's how do you make it?
Okay, it's very simple, and obviously we've got a couple of things we're pickling, but we start with a little bit of brown sugar. We've got some ginger powder, some chili flakes, some mustard seed, some allspice, and some coriander seed.
That is an array of spice that you've got there.
We're going to pop it in there. Then what we're going to do is just give it a little bit of water so it doesn't stick.
What's the idea behind pickling, Peter? Is it to preserve things?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's where, like confit or pickling or whatever was one of the first ways of actually storing our foods.
Okay.
So we didn't have refrigeration, so that's why they use these kind of methods.
So by means of pickling, you can have your hard-boiled eggs and, you know, keep them pickled for as long as you... Yeah. But does the, I mean, that acidity, right? Does it penetrate through the membrane and then your yolk is... Yeah.
Okay, so first thing about hard-boiled eggs is you mustn't overcook them. So you basically, you put them from room temperature into cold water, bring it to the boil. From when it starts boiling, 6 minutes, take it out, refresh it. Okay, put it in ice cold water, stop the cooking process. Okay. So that when you cut that egg, right in the center, still a little bit gooey. Okay. Otherwise, it's this blue egg like I used to have in the army. You know, really bad. Okay, so that's made. So we're just going to cook that for about 2-3 minutes. Yep. We're then going to add some, I like using apple cider vinegar. It's got a beautiful flavor. You can use brown vinegar if you want. It's cheaper, but it doesn't give you that nice flavor. Salt. So your two pickling agents here is the salt and the vinegar. Your spices that you're adding to is just to flavor it up. Okay. Then we're going to add some water to that. Okay. Pretty easy. Bring that to the boil. Probably about 6-7 minutes. Cool it down, and then all we're going to do is pour it over our hard-boiled eggs that have already been peeled, obviously, and then put a lid on, into the fridge. Minimum 3 days, but they can last you a good 2, 3, 4 weeks.
That's incredible! Wow. Okay, and I'd actually love to taste that. Could we pour once it's done the boiling thing, put it in there, and we'll have it later on later on this afternoon. I'd love to taste a pickled egg. Could we quickly explain how to pickle pork, though?
Okay, that's.
But you have to do it quick.
Yeah, it's
quick,
pretty much the same. Okay.
Angie knows exactly what I'm saying when I said, can we do it quickly?
When you say quick, you mean quick, eh? Okay, so I'm going to swap pots over. What I've got over here is some brown sugar again. I've got some peppercorn, some mustard seeds, some bay leaf, and some garlic in there as well. Some
apple cider
vinegar, some salt.
Same process.
With this one, I like to use a little bit of chili sauce. You can use Tabasco or anything else you want.
So pretty much you follow the same process, just adding the Tabasco there.
Now the difference with this now, a lot of recipes will say, cook the pork in this, okay? That's not the way to do it. What you do is you bring your mixture to the boil. You get one of those big Ziploc containers. Or bags. Yeah. When this comes to the boil, you then throw ice into it just to cool it down, okay? You then put your pork into the liquid. Yes. You seal it up, put it in your fridge for 3 days, and then you cook it. Okay. And what you would do is you would cook it in water at room temperature, come to the boil, give it about an hour and a half, and then you're ready.
Thank you very much, Peter. Angie, we're looking forward to some answers from you, but later on. But Peter, I saw you touch the Tabasco. Do not rub your eyes. Don't rub your eyes, okay? We'll keep our lines open on 083-913-3728. The Culinary Hotline, bling, ting, ting, ting. We'll continue. Well, we're back again in the kitchen. Angie Boyd, Peter Ayub. We're taking your calls on 083-913-3728. It's the Culinary Hotline. Bling, ting, ting, ting. All right, we pickled some eggs earlier on. Take a look at this. This is what the mixture looked like. And you'd leave that for about what, a
3
couple of
days.
hours? 3 days. And then you can have your pickled eggs. Next question, though, guys, came from Elise, who said, can I keep carrots and butternut in the freezer to keep them fresh? What's your take on that, guys?
The thing is, I'm not really sure why you would want to, because they kind of have their own self-sealing preserving mechanisms.
Yeah.
So butternut and carrots last really, really well in a cool, dry temperature.
Okay.
But if you do want to cook them, keep them in the freezer, then you would blanch them, cook them.
I think, I'm a little bit mixed about that because, like Angie said, they stay fresh without freezing them, so you can actually use them when you need to.
Okay.
And I think this whole thing about buying in bulk actually works out more expensive over the long run.
Really, Peter?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So rather buy as you need it, and you'll find you're less wastage and you're less effort and you're less... So all of a sudden you're giving the shopping centres all your money as opposed to keeping it in your own bank.
I understand that side of it, but I mean, I've done a bit of bulk shopping myself, and it's worked out a bit cheaper for my pocket. We'll do the maths. Yeah?
Okay.
We'll do the maths and then compare something.
Definitely.
Okay, but like you say, from a cooking perspective, you would rather want to have it as fresh as possible.
You want it as fresh as possible. But if you really, for some reason, need to freeze it, then you would obviously peel it, blanch it, as in cook it.
I think butternut's a bad example because I would say stuff like, let's say, asparagus or broccoli or carrots or that kind of stuff. Yes, that you would peel it, blanch it, which means you just put into salted boiling water, and that brings out that beautiful colour, and then you cool it down, you freeze it.
Okay, fantastic. Well, there you have it, Elise. And then a question came through from Jocelyn, who said, whenever I bake bread at home, the top always breaks and bursts. What am I doing wrong? I've never tried baking bread at home. I should actually try it first, Jocelyn. But yes, what happens when it breaks and bursts?
Look, bread is a complicated process, but there's probably 2 reasons. One is you haven't let it prove enough. So proving is just that rising process. So it's got to rise twice, once in the bowl, and then once when you've turned it into a loaf. If you turn it into a loaf, you've got to leave it to rise till double in size. If you don't do that, it might burst. The other thing is your oven might be too cool. So it's got to be at a very hot temperature, 200, 220 to bake bread.
And what I find all the time, if you just give it a couple of slices on top, it just prevents it from bursting up as well.
And then you get that beautiful picturesque kind of bread like they have on the cartoon.
Exactly.
Except that just beautiful.
So it opens up and it doesn't look like it's.
Could you show us how with these ingredients? I mean, is that what we're going to be doing with these?
This is for.
What are you making with this?
Cook system.
Fit cook. Oh, okay. Well, that's happening later on. But okay, wait. So take me through the basic bread making process.
All bread is pretty much the same. So you start with flour, and it's the same when we make the vet cook. A vet cook is basically made with basic bread dough. Any bread dough. So you've got your cake flour or bread flour, depending on which one you want. I always use the bread flour, either plain or whole wheat. It's got to have yeast, got to have salt, sometimes a little bit of sugar, and then water. And then after that, it's a variation. You can use milk, you can use eggs, you can add butter, you can add olive oil, but the basics are flour, salt, and yeast. Okay,
fantastic. And then when we come back for the next part of our culinary hotline bling, I want to understand the proving process, because I was trying to picture it in my mind, and it didn't really come together. So please stick around in our kitchen. Of course, our lines are open, 083-9133-728. Do give us a call for the culinary hotline bling. Ting, ting, ting.
It's my feel-good breakfast show. Call us on your cell phone. Culinary Hotline Bling. That can only mean one thing.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso, and yes, indeed, it is the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ting, ting, ting. So we've also got Andre, the hilarious hypnotist, in studio, and his very willing culprit student, of course, Neil, joining us this morning, who is very susceptible to hypnosis. And we have now made him believe that he is a very arrogant chef who knows so much more than our expert panel in the Culinary Hotline. Cats.
I'll tell you what, give us a call, 083-9133-728. That's where we want to take your calls, and we're taking all your questions. Mrs. from Joburg, this is what our call is called, Mrs. Okay, Mrs. Said this: when I make upside-down coconut cake, the coconut is always moist on top. What am I doing wrong?
Absolutely nothing. It should be moist on top.
Oh, it's supposed to be? Yes.
Well, I would like a nice moist coconut cake. I don't want it to be dry. So that is the whole point. If you don't want it, then the next best thing would be to make your cake and then toast some coconut and add it on afterwards.
What is that? We toast the coconuts?
And add it on afterwards.
Okay.
Then you'll get nice crispy toasted coconut.
All right.
Instead.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There you have it, Mrs. Neil, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Jock asks us this question: how do I make vet cook? That is a South African firm favorite recipe. How do you make vet cook?
You make vet cook with bread dough. So any bread dough, usually a basic bread dough. So what we've got here is some white bread flour. We've got instant yeast, which is super easy to use, some sugar,
What are you
Neil.
doing, Neil?
Just
What
having a
are
look
you
at
doing,
what's
Neil?
happening there.
We add that in, mix it through.
Or do you have an opinion to offer?
Do you know what?
Are you
I would do
concentrating, Neil?
the other way around.
Okay. Sure, but this
Why?
That whole technique about less
Yeah, you
hands.
pour it, pour it.
Do you know what? Seems a bit shaky there, Peter.
More.
I just want to go in with
You're making us
being
nervous,
super
Neil.
confident on what you're doing. That's all about.
More.
It's what you got to have be a chef, you know.
Okay.
Especially in my kitchen.
When did you become a chef?
Google it, Kat. Google it.
Google it. Oh, wow. Google it, he says. Okay. So anyway, you mix up the dough a little bit
Okay,
and...
so we make a nice sort of soft dough.
Yeah.
And this is a basic bread dough. Then you would have to knead it.
Yes.
So as soon as it's come together, I'm not going to do it now.
Get your hands working
Get your
there.
hands in there, knead it until it's soft and pliable. That takes about 10, 15 minutes if
Mm-hmm.
you do it by hand. Then you're going to leave it in the bowl with some cling film over it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to rise, which means double in bulk. So it starts off here, and it's going to rise until it's there.
Okay.
That's
Right.
because of the yeast. There. Okay.
Okay. Wow.
And then you're going to, once it's risen, it takes about an hour or so. Once it's risen, you knock it back, and then you're going to shape it. So
Okay.
with Fed Cook, you shape it into tiny little balls, probably the size of those potatoes, and then you deep fry it in oil.
Yeah. I'm assuming, as a chef, you agree with this, Neil.
I wasn't listening.
Oh, you...
For me, it just comes naturally.
You just do it.
Dream.
Okay.
Methods.
Wow. All right.
these things.
Talk to us about making crispy potatoes that are crispy on the outside, soft on the inside.
Okay,
Yeah.
very quickly, what you do so that it is soft inside is you boil them first. Okay, and once again, a root vegetable, you start in cold water, bring it up to the boil and cook them.
Okay.
Then you take them out. What I love to do is put them back into the pan
Yes.
once it's been strained. Shake it around so it actually mashes it. It gives it like some nice
yes.
like crispy
bits,
edges.
yeah.
Then I cover it with some duck fat, which you can buy from any good
Retailer.
yeah. And then pop it in the oven, I'd say about 220 degrees for anything from about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on your oven, until they're nice and beautiful, crispy and brown on the outside.
I'm glad to see our esteemed chef agrees.
I don't know. Got a lot to say on this topic, but I'm going to go with what Peter says.
Okay.
Now,
Okay, thanks,
Peter.
thanks.
Okay.
Can we do one more? Can we do one more
Yeah.
question that came through from Zahra, who says, how can I make muffins that don't stick to the pan? Maybe, Neil, we could start off with you. You could offer us your expertise. How do you make muffins that don't stick to the pan?
Oh, carefully. Just follow my instructions. Okay, they're all on my YouTube channel. Just go to the link to Expresso. I don't have to explain all these things. Just watch me. Just watch me. What do you guys
Okay,
think? Why do you guys make it?
Well, what I would do is spray the tin.
Oh, that's exactly what I would start
That's
doing.
a good
That's
start.
right. Spraying is always best.
Yeah, and the other thing is just use those little muffin cups.
Yeah,
then they definitely
muffin
won't
cups.
Don't be
stick.
scared of using spray and cook. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so really...
definitely
How about butter? Could you go butter? Would that help?
That's
You
old
can,
school,
it's
butter
old
and
school,
flour.
yeah.
But nowadays with spray and cook, and I always say, if
brilliant.
there's something out there that works, use it.
Okay, all right, yeah. Thank you very much, guys. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Peter. And I guess
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Chef.
I
Neil.
just want to come and stand in the middle here.
Thanks.
Feel like I'm number one.
We look forward to having you again. World-renowned chef. Google him, Neil, if you
Number
will.
one.
But thanks so much to you for those calls you sent in. We'll see you again next week for the Culinary Hotline. Bling! Ting,
Number one.
ting, ting!